And Scott, man, what do you want to see here, my friend?
I want to see not bank. There we go. Thank goodness. Also not Cafe. Cafe is my least favorite map. Thank you very much, Jarrison Fan Club, for taking that one out. Oh, and my favorite map is actually going to be up for the actual last one. Chalet is, yes, my favorite map in R6 as of right now. That may be because I'm a little biased, because personally I like to bring in Kaid, step up towards the balcony window, the one that's barricaded, and when you used to be able to use bullet holes and actually shoot through those before they patched out what had been 6 years living long, I usually just spawn peek towards cliff because I have no self-control. Well, yeah, I'm a terrible person. I apologize profusely to every single, probably hundreds upon hundreds of people I've killed doing that, because I am ruthless to the bone. When the test server came out for Chalet, that huge 6.2.0, Rainbow 6.2.0 update that came out, changing the game as a whole, as it stated, really resurrected my love for the game as well. I played nothing but Chalet. So I'm really glad to see that come up. It'll be interesting to see how these two teams fare. Jarrison Fan Club, obviously, as we've said, coached by Harrison, and we get to see how that's going to work out for them. And I think that with just how big his brain is, how mega mind he is, and is how much he can, I guess, soak up in terms of the sport, I think this map is going to be very interesting to see how these two teams face on a very aggressive map like Chalet.
Something that I'm going to be keeping my eyes on as well inside of Chalet is the presence of, these legacy angles, right? Obviously, we know about the ego balcony. We know about how important it is to get top floor control. And that is because the verticality, the, Swiss cheesing of floors plays such huge dividends inside of this game or inside of this map. And I'm looking forward to that, right? I used to watch a bunch of different videos that just gave away a bunch of different angles that you could do with soft destruction. Granted, I never got to use them because I was a console player back then, and that is so difficult to do in terms of controlling recoil and things like that. But I'm looking forward to seeing just how much map knowledge is going to be brought between these two teams. Obviously, these teams are some of the best that we have inside of Eris. Maybe not in terms of standings, but these two teams have had such a great season so far. And as we close out the season, this match is gigantic in terms of the standings.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not the only one in bad taste, huh? If you're a console player, right? So it's not just me with bad taste spawn picking. Who's worse? You guys decide in the chat, but we're ready to jump into it. Tex is apparently shouting and profusing her love to somebody. Well, we may not say who. Everyone is at this point in time. It is what it is. But Homeland Nova will be the first team to ban out. Thatcher is a fairly strong ban on this map. Chalet seems to be, most teams are still trying to fully decide what they want to ban and what they want to leave up. And the first ban will, in fact, be Maverick. So Homeland Nova is saying, hey, we'll leave Jarrison Fan Club up to choose what they want to ban out. We do not want to face off against Maverick. We want nothing to do with it. And I don't think that's a horrible decision. And instead, Jarrison Fan Club will toss something up in the air. Nomad, no really great way to deny the roam denial itself. And that will allow for Jarrison Fan Club on the attack to kind of pick up what they want to do instead. Maybe a zero to watch their rear. Maybe a gridlock. Gridlock is fairly popular on Chalet. And we'll have a smoke. We'll be the last one to be taken out. Jarrison Fan Club are really tossing this one up. One of them's going to help them. One of them may help them a bit more than the other, though. Homeland over the last ban. We'll see what it may lie in 2 seconds. It'll be a ban onto Valkyrie. Denial of the information, which will inevitably assist them in their second half.
I love the Valkyrie ban personally, just because of how aggressive you can be on Chalet. One thing that I've noticed here, Scott, is the lack of a Thatcher ban. They're opting to go for, obviously, you saw that Maverick, and that leaves Thatcher up on the board. So I'm interested to see what or how the Jarrison Fan Club are going to peruse him, if at all, to be completely honest with you. Maybe they just stick to what they know and play a composition where they don't have a Thatcher, but no, they are actually going to show it. That's Meg Ninja on that Thatcher. I'm expecting that to stick on through just because of how versatile Thatcher can be as not only a utility person. Obviously, those EMPs, play a huge part inside of Siege, but also good fragging operator in his own right? Like the L85 is a force to be reckoned with, or you can maybe bring that AR-33 off for that rate of fire. So overall, I'm loving the lineup that we're seeing from Jarrison, but it has to be said that a lot of teams aren't really practicing with Thatcher at this point. So maybe there's a little bit of adjusting that Jarrison's going to have to do. Let's wait and see here, Scott.
When you're bringing a castle, you're really just trying to slow down the game, right? And when you're talking about a map like Chalet, typically in most objectives for a lot of maps, if there is a quick entry into the site from a window or from a soft wall, then you're going to kind of have a big question, at least in my mind, right? At least in my mind, about how you're going to defend that one. You're talking about CCTV and cash room for the side of Clubhouse, and you're talking about objective like we saw right there when you're talking about holding billiards. There's a big window that is readily available for the attack to push through. You have to be very wary of that. So it's a game of slowing it down. Dictate the pace, and castle is a great way to do so, but it can also be pretty quickly dealt with when there is a castle on the board, and we do in fact have one on that Jarrison fan club side, but they're going to go ahead and push in from two directions. One's going to come in from the big garage, one's going to come in from Snowmobile Garage, and Secret's going to go ahead and do a bit of bandit tricking on that hard wall, keeping at bay those X-Kairos pellets. Magnage going to want to have none of it, just heads away, not wanting to fight against that, and instead says we'll push the other direction. We already have Velociraptor taking full control over the opposing garage.
Something that I'm worried about, though, is the fact that they're leaving Tex alone on that top floor. I'm not sure what kind of pressure that Jarrison wants to apply to that top floor. It seems like a very horizontal take as of right now. They seem to want to sell into trying to take into this sort of basement, I guess, not alleyway, but sort of hallway here, and Secret has a lot to deal with, especially with these bandit charges. And no, the bandit tricking will not ring true this time, but they have a lot of control despite that. Now they have to stay safe and be aware of the many different angles that Jarrison fan club can get a hold of, and Secret, or well, the rest of Homeland Nova for that matter, could be in very dire straits, especially with Secret falling before she can pop off with that nitro cell. Jarrison seemed to want to continue this reign of dominance and continue to push into the site here, and Dire trying to put away a little bit of that pressure. Tex is going to make her way back down, finding that kill onto Velociraptor, but has the damage already been done? Where is the diffuser is my big question. Mine will eventually try to get the frag grenade off and put Dire into a down but not out state, and Megnage meanwhile will get that diffuser down. So Homeland Nova in a post-plant situation, but Ava has something to say about that. Kato is going to be the next person to fall. This is such a close game already here, Scott, and with 30 seconds remaining, some things just have to come true for Homeland Nova in order for them to pull out this round, but they're doing their damnedest. Mine is going to go down, and it's all down to Garbage alone in a 1v2. Well, what is effectively a 1v2. Do they have the crossfire established? Tex is going to get that finish onto Mine, so no more information, and yes, they're going to find Garbage. Tex and Ava both going huge inside of that round. Homeland Nova are going to take the first round, but Scott, that was a battle and a half.
Whew, what a spectacular showcase there. Homeland Nova holding on strong, even though Jarrison fan club had a very swift entry into the site. And personally speaking, I know a lot of people may have a dissenting opinion to my own. I actually like the basement site when it comes to this map. I think that it promotes a better defense when it comes to the basement, and if as long as you can lock down Snowmobile Garage, which we did see them do, then you have a great position to deny the opposing side. But unfortunately for Homeland, Jarrison fan club stepped up. They rushed inside, they got control of a good position, sitting there set of wine towards barrels. They got the plant down, they had an entry through that wall towards boiler, and it was a very dangerous retake for Homeland, but they got the job done, and that's exactly what they needed to do. Now they're gonna have to face the separate beast, the one I talked about prior, but you have a swift window entry into that billiards room. It allows for a swift execution, which is something we've already seen JFC, Jarrison fan club, already attempt to do so. We see them with the prior experience, and now it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to, I guess, set the pace and continue with that same level of strategy, with the same attempted push, or if they're going to play this one a little bit slower. You can see from their lineup on the attack, they've got themselves a Thatcher to deal with any hard walls if they do want to push in maybe from mezzanine side to gain control of this top floor. Obviously, with the player of Kaid being available, they may be a little bit wary of those electro claws, and Secret is bringing those to the table. You're going to have to be wary of those hatches, and hatches are so much of the game here in Chalet. Gives you sightlines, gives you control, and it gives the attack an outlet to toss some of those explosive ordinances, the nades in pocket, down into the site, and they've got plenty of those to work with.
See, that vertical play is going to be absolutely huge there, Scott. Like you were just mentioning, right? That hatch play, that soft destruction on the top floor could pay dividends at the end. But we see Homeland playing a little bit of a sort of, I guess, unstructured sort of defense, right? They're in a bunch of different positions and they're forcing Jarrison fan club to really just root them out. But they're going to start with this top floor, and that is a lot of pressure that they are giving up very early, right? Dyer seems to be the only person that can defend against a full-on push, especially with Ava taking so much damage here early, and they have to be a little bit more careful inside of their positions. Our Homeland, right? They love to get aggressive, and I love the style of play that they have, but if you find yourself peeking out and just being undisciplined, you could potentially be giving away round wins for free. So I'm looking for Homeland to really slow things down, play within themselves, and just force Jarrison to force their way into their angles.
Alpha is going to be taking control of Velociraptors, looking for a bit of a flanking play. Maybe trying to catch one or two players up towards mezzanine stairs. Fireplace is a dangerous position to hold on to, but there's still plenty of nades in the hands of Jarrison fan club. They're looking to find a position to toss those for and maybe get rid of some of the utility, but these windows are a bit of a dangerous foothold. You've got to worry for more than one outlook. Obviously, the Frost Mat's there, as well as the Surya Gate of the Aruni of Strona. It's just something that's very dangerous to work with. A Tachanka in play. That smoke is no longer allowed. It means that Tachanka is essentially required. I'm really hoping that DP-27 can find that long-range damage, but it'll be the first pick. We'll go to Tex. They'll find themselves one with the 9mm. Secret finds a Nitro into Megnin's legs, and now you're in a bad spot if you're Jarrison fan club. It's a 5v3, and with only a minute and 8 seconds remaining, you got to figure out if you want to play this one a little bit slower, or if you want to start pushing in for that aggressive stance like we saw prior. They know one sitting in the backside, where that shot was coming from originally. You can see the shots attempting to go over their head, not really finding a space to do so just yet. He's trying to play this one a little bit slower. He's actually holding that corner anymore. Instead, playing around the opposing side, near one of the locations, and Secret's holding in towards Snowmobile stairs. It's not going to work out for him. Might lose their life to Tex. Another long shot with that 9mm, and it's just up to Kato and Garbage. And they're going to have to play this one either extremely swiftly, because there's only 30 seconds left, or just play for some quick frags. Kato steps forward, another wall separating them from the outlet, and Strona is not far behind, sitting on library steps, holding it on the bottom side, maybe looking for a close opportunity. Time will have to tell, but there is basically no time left at all now. A quick rush goes through. Somehow Kato wins the fight against Strona, despite the rush going in favor for them, and Homeland no more 10 seconds away from a round win. Garbage has made the rotation over, ready to step inside bar, does manage to step inside, but Secret's there, finds the kill, and Tex is on a rampage, finding yet another to add to their margin in a successful defensive round win once again.
Just all of the positions that Homeland Nova were sitting in, they weren't rooted out. That's as simple as I can put it, right? Tex was able to hold inside of that top floor library for pretty much the entire round. The only time that she left that position was to go and find that final kill. And by then, it is the perfect move to go on and just try and get aggressive, right? Close the round out. Yes, Homeland looking indomitable inside of this game so far. Jarrison fan club really struggling with the clears of the top floor, with the clears of the other parts of the map. Yes, we saw in that first round that they were able to get on to the site, but not all of the due diligence was done there. So in the previous round that we just watched, they do all of their due diligence. They try to get that top floor clear going, but the gunplay, the teamwork that I saw from Homeland, just so strong inside of that situation. You saw Ava peeking out, trying to peek out the gunfire, and then the frost of Tex just followed up from behind. So overall, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Homeland. And Jarrison, well, Crow isn't exactly a miracle worker. You're gonna have to play within yourselves, and you got to get some things going for yourselves here.
Yeah, Crow can't play for you, right?
No, well, I mean, Crow.
He sure would want to, right? He sure would want to. Crow's done a lot of work here, and you can obviously see it. And Jarrison fan club's roster, they have been working hard, and it has been showing in their games. And I'm really happy to see them be playing right now. I haven't actually been able to watch them that much, and it's been a little sad on my end because of that. I've had some fairly busy Thursdays sometimes, but in this matchup so far, I've been fairly entertaining. I've been really enjoying this matchup. Homeland in that last round just had a vice grip on the map on second floor. They didn't really allow them to step out from office. They didn't even need to fully hold office like a lot of teams will do. They don't really hold off angles. Instead, they're just holding what they know. Library, library stairs. They're holding everything they can. And like I said, it's that vice grip. They're a little bit too strong to contend with. But now we're going to what a lot of people consider to be the main objective. That's office and master bedroom side. And I think this one is quite strong, but most teams typically opt to bring in, very quick attempt there with that, that wall bang, but they typically try to bring in a Goyo. And I'm actually against that. I do think shields are extremely strong here, but I don't like the use of a Vulcan shield on the piano where a lot of people will play. And I think using a normal shield a bit smarter to do with, but it doesn't seem to be that they're going to go for that just yet. In fact, no one's actually holding piano. Homeland Nova are playing something a little bit different, and I don't think Jarrison fan club are readily aware of this strategy. May not be something they've actively prepared against. And while Ava went for the kill, does only get a little bit of damage off, and takes the worst into the butt damage in the process.
Frag grenades are going to come through from mine. That should get the kill onto Ava. Yes, it does. That kill has been confirmed, and with that, Homeland lose a little bit of map control, but they still have Tex playing from below, just waiting for this entry into the office doorway. And I love this position here from Tex. She could make a gigantic impact later on in the round, but no. Are they wise to the fact that Kato is getting that bomb down? Yes, they are. Tex will have that deny with the Nitro Cell, but things are still going relatively poorly here for Homeland Nova as they're falling like flies here. Scott Strona is going to fall. We saw, I think it was Secret dying earlier in the round as well. And it's all down to Dyer and Tex to try and pull this round out. But Tex has had an amazing Play-Doh so far. They allowed Dyer to escape, but not for long. She will be downed, and it's all down to Tex alone in a 1v4. And the UMP-45 is not the gun that you want to do it with garbage. We'll do the secondary attempt at trying to get that diffuser down, but they won't even need to. Mine will find both of those kills, and Jarrison fan club able to cull the momentum of Homeland Nova just a little bit here. Scoreline sits at 2-1.
Well, I mean, if you bring an airsoft gun to a battlefield, somebody may not anticipate that it does much damage. Now it does at Santos. I mean, the UMP, despite it being on one of my favorite operators, in fact, two of my favorite operators, because I actually love Castle and Pulse a lot, it is horrendous. It is not a very strong weapon. In a game that it's, one-shot kills if you hit the head, I'm not that good. So it's not a point of contention for me sometimes, but... Still, I mean, it's a hard weapon to do long range with, especially with the fact that it has a little bit of limitations for its damage output. A pause we'll probably have to go through here as we have had Tex, unfortunately, disconnect at an unpoor time, and it's right at the start of a round, so we'll actually probably have to go through with a rehost. Considering that it started, but we'll be back with a little bit more for it. But I want to talk a little bit more about that last round. What started off as Homeland planned on playing this offshoot angle, kind of playing something that was really unanticipated in my opinion, the angle of not holding piano, which was interesting for me. I actually, I do think piano is a very important hold to go through. You have one player just being that one-man army forefront runner, and typically you have it be a smoke sometimes. Sometimes you'll set your smoke in office, but a lot of people don't bring that. A lot of people choose to say, hey, we're not going to play Vulcan with the Goyo shields because of that. And I agree with that opinion because it's a little bit too dangerous with the fire on the ground. If you're not able to escape, then you're just killing yourself off. But they didn't have anyone contend in that direction. And yeah, they pushed in from office, but the fact that they could push in through office, which is the area you were really only holding, does not spell well for that site for you, that you lost in your most defended area.
Tex had to pull out that Nitro Cell entirely too early there too to deny the plant because there was so much pressure that Jarrison was putting in, especially through the breach, but also through the office doorway as well. And eventually that just became too much to overcome for Homeland, right? They started falling player by player. And yes, Tex was having a really good play day and she's had a really good season. But again, it comes down to the UMP 45. And when Canadian said, it is the worst gun in the game, he was spitting. He definitely had a point there. Yes, it's certainly possible to do some things with the gun, but overall, I mean, just not a lot of manpower there for Homeland Nova to really deal with the pressure that Jarrison was able to establish. And it all came down to the fact that they just got picked really early there, Scott.
In the nade that went through from mine to find, who was it that was holding the close angle? What was it? Ava? Ava holding a little close. Yes, if you're going to play that Ava, if you don't find that kill when you peek that, get away. Run away. That's not the defense. Run. That's you are pushed off that hill. You cannot die on that hill. The fact that you died on that hill spell disaster for your team. You no
Right.
longer had as strong of a foothold inside office, and that's where things start to kind of fizzle out for your defense. You got to work differently. You got to be able to step up in a different direction, take a step back, head back to where your shield may lie. The nade may have tagged you a little bit, but it wouldn't have killed you. And then you could kind of reposition yourself to be in a little bit more of an advantageous position for you. And it all started with that loss. You got to realize once you peak that, it's not just a game of, I know they're here, I'm taking the shots, I've tagged them, they're lit.
Right.
They're one, like I call it in every game, even if I don't hit them, they're one. It's just being honest, sorry. Even if they are one or one, you have to also realize who they're playing as. And if you're seeing a Yana, then you also got to be realizing that's nades. That's util. That's going to be dumped towards my side. It's an extra level of the game. And for someone like me that's colorblind, I'm really bad about that. So I typically just run everywhere and just pretend like I know what I'm doing.
Whee!
But exactly, yeah. You got to be able to look at a situation like that, and you got to be able to adapt accordingly. And we didn't see that adaptation fast enough. They were trying to get away from it. Nade kills, and that's where Jarrison Fan Club just swiftly rush into sight, take control, find themselves frags in some really good angles, and just cap off the round in due fashion.
It's interesting that you bring up the point of awareness too, right? This is something that me and Crow were really harping on last week. Not only do you have to be aware of the operator that is on the other side of that doorway, but you also have to be aware of what is around you, right? That shield basically offers you no protection, right? And then it was taken out by a nade. So that should be yet another cue for you to say, hey, I need to get up on out of here. Maybe you know, if you had an ADS at your disposal, or maybe if you had a little bit of more protection, maybe you stay in that position for a little bit longer. But Scott, there was nothing protecting Ava from sure death there, and that is something that, you know, I think Homeland have definitely, you know, they've lost a couple matches because of that, right? They've sat in these positions, these aggressive positions, and yes, it does a lot for you if you're able to sit there, but you got to know when you got to leave. And something that Homeland Nova have struggled with throughout the season, right, is just sitting in positions for far too long. And hopefully they can sort of shore that up as we move on forward inside of this game. But at that point, you basically give away your life for free there, Scott. And that is tough to watch.
Is it one of those situations where, like, if you're selfless, sorry, I have a lot of hair, it's in my eye. If you're selfless, maybe a little bit too selfless, an ADS for thee, but not for me, right?
Yeah.
And that ADS, not having that, being that selfless attitude costs you your life, right? Not what
even then, you probably don't use two ADSs for that doorway. Maybe you put them in to try and protect against piano or whatever it may have you. So again, it comes down to just whatever you want to hold, right? But I do see what you're saying there, Scott.
I think that as we jump back into the game quite swiftly, I think that when you're trying to redefend that objective, maybe don't head back, right? I think for the side of Homeland Nova, you kind of realize that that's a strong suit for them. And we saw glimpses of it being really strong for them prior on the basement site. And that site kind of was another swift entry point. We can kind of rush in through office because you obviously have that outside awning that you can kind of come in on. Maybe you step to kitchen and dining as that extra choice, that last choice. And we're seeing that here. Kitchen and dining will be the next one that gets picked up. We saw Tex obviously down there before with the Pulse. And Pulse obviously not that strong this time around. And Pulse is not going to get any, kills from down below on this map when it comes to playing verticality. Maybe he plays from above and fires from above. But when you do play this, and you usually defend it from above, and that's where you're going to see Goyo with these Vulcan shields be very successful, because you'll probably put a player behind piano. Because if you lose second floor, I'm sorry to break it to you, you probably will lose first floor very quickly afterwards. It's a little bit too strong. It's really a dangerous site. That's one of the fun things about Chalet. That's why it's pretty attacker favorite in a lot of ways. There's just so many outlooks for attackers to push forward and take control of that the defense has to be ready for 30 different strategies when they can only employ 2 or 3 on each site.
It takes a lot of discipline to play the defensive side here on Chalet, right? You have to just be aware. You have to be calling out to your teammates. The communication is almost more important than your gun skill inside of this game, right? Like, obviously, if you can click on a head better than the next guy, sure, that gives you a little bit of an advantage, but you can find so many kills on both sides, really, in Chalet, off of just the communication that you can get. If you can catch, maybe you were talking about how this match, or this map, can be very attacker favored. If you can catch the attack, maybe playing a little bit over aggressively, maybe buying into that advantage too much, you can find some pretty easy picks. And I think we've seen that in a couple of the rounds here from Homeland, excuse me. But Jarrison, again, just they've played very disciplined in their own right, and that's why the scoreline is so close.
It is a really close game. It's been really entertaining from beginning to end, even during our short little break. But we're back into it, ready to get things set in stone as Jarrison Fan Club begin their, I guess, fourth assault into this map, trying to find which direction is going to work. They're going to step in from Library first, take control of the southwest portion of the map, and then work their way inward. And this is going to be a dangerous point for them. If they can take control of Library steps, which they'll do so with Garbage taking full control, they'll also be able to use that Gemini Replicator to get rid of maybe some of the Surya gates, also be able to find a bit more information pushing forward, and that's going to be a fairly advantageous position for them because they still got to swing the second floor. They can't spend the entire game doing so. We know they're capable of doing it. We also see that Vulcan shield I talked about being placed on piano. It may not be the Vulcan, but we do see a shield placed on top of piano. And that's going to be one of the biggest factors for Homeland's defense. If they lose those players to the second floor, it's going to be a hard-fought total on the first. But they're going to trade out frags. Velociraptor we felt, same as Tex. No more is your Vector in hand, same as your AR in the hands of Zofia. Sorry, the LMG in the hands of your Zofia, the LMGE. But it's a 4v4, a minute and a half remaining. And they're still trying to find kills. Ava finds the next, but still only a 4v3.
That kill onto Velociraptor was huge, or whoever was playing on the rappel outside of the master bedroom there, right? That opens up the ability for Ava to sit inside of the bathroom, and then once she gets that kill, she can escape with her life, right? And that's exactly what happened out there, Scott. Like, Ava didn't feel any pressure. She was able to just hone in on one singular gunfight, and Jarrison just didn't have a response for it. And now Homeland find themselves in a man advantage as we hit the 1 minute mark, the 60-second mark inside of this round. Now, do they know that secret is sitting inside of Harry Potter? If they try to send it down the Solarium stairs, that could spell some very dangerous traits for the members of Jarrison Fan Club. But no, they want to do all of their due diligence. They're going to make some absolutely insane reconstruction here on the top floor before eventually making their way down and trying to force this plant. But they have to deal with Dire sitting on Stachanka. I love this pick because, well, it plays a huge dividend inside of the late round situations, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. He can use that Shimiko launcher to full effect and really deny any chance of a plant going down here from Kato. But Jarrison Fan Club, they're going to have to start hitting the sense of urgency button just a little bit here, but Garbage actually not going down. I thought Dire had won that out for sure, but no, nothing is going right here for Jarrison inside of the late round here, but they do have Kato getting this plant down, and she's eventually going to have to force that down. Kato's going to do her damnedest, but no, it's Ava with a quad on the round. She deserves the defuse in my opinion, but no, it's Shrona actually getting that counter defuse, and Homeland, they find themselves up 3-1.
What a great round there from Ava. I mean, what else can you possibly say in that situation? They clutched up. And I'll talk about Homeland's defense. Yeah, they lost control of the second floor, but they held it for a minute and a half, probably about a minute and 45 seconds total. I think what it came down to. Mm-hmm. But the biggest factor for them was not only did they hold it. There we go. English is sometimes difficult. I feel like I have a good control of the English language sometimes, but then there's others where I can't say Tachanka's angels. Angles. I'm just sorry. I've been using a protractor a lot in college, so maybe that's why I'm really into angles right now. But it was their ability to step away from the site without losing every single one of their players' lives. They had 3 people up top. One of them was kind of playing back and forth, able to make themselves be approachable or not approachable for the attack on both sides. But only one person lost. Your Goyo, that was Tex, lost their life early, and the rest were able to take a step back towards the side, turtle up where necessary, and that's why you see Homeland Nova be able to survive the inevitable assault that Jarrison Fan Club brought to the table. It's because they situated themselves in a position to stay alive, gather information, and then do what I would call the breakaway, which is, hey, we realize we're going to lose this fight. Run away, right? Break away from this situation. No, be there, right? Be like water, no, be there. And that's exactly what they did. And that's why we're seeing it be 3-1 instead of 2-2, because Jarrison Fan Club didn't get the frags they were anticipating to get, and they didn't know really how to attack that floor on the first floor because they didn't have the man advantage they anticipated.
5 seconds to go.
Continuing with the boxing references, really Homeland just stuck in, like, they hit the stick and move. They just threw a couple of jabs here and there. They found a couple of kills, and then they said, hey, we're feeling a lot of pressure. Let's get up on out of here. We got to escape with our lives. And because they had that man advantage late inside of that round, yes, Jarrison did a very good job at finding some kills of their own, but overall, Homeland just a little bit too much to deal with inside of that last round there. And Jarrison, well, this is really the first sense of mortality that we've seen from them ever since they became the Jarrison Fan Club, right? They're currently down 3-1, and they haven't been in these dire straits in a long time recently. They're in a long time, really. Here, Scott. They've been running ripshot throughout the league, but maybe they're being humbled a little bit here because right now Homeland are in the driver's seat.
One of the big things you have to put on, I guess, the chopping block is going to be what is going to find you success and what's going to fall apart. And for the players on Jarrison Fan Club, you know what's worked, and it's just a matter of trying to replicate that. Yes, Homeland are going to play differently. They're going to play this one a little bit closer to the chest, so to say, but you still need to be able to find those picks and act on it. And a great way to do so is to toss that nade from big window, get control after clearing out one player, which they did a spectacular job of as Tex loses their life, and to be wary about that hatch. The hatch is a death zone, and that's exactly what we saw right there. A nitro cell tossed up, finds themselves a kill, and then Secret's not far behind to find over the AUG. It's just putting themselves in a bad position, and they're going to have to start finding more frags to equalize that out. They'll do so. Garbage, sorry, not Garage, finds themselves a kill. One more onto Ava, who was spectacular previously, as we've seen them play in that last round. That was only 3 players left standing for Homeland Nova. They've got to be very, very careful when it comes to defending this forefront fireplace push. We also know they like to push in through Games Hall. It's just a matter of buying time for the next minute and 10 seconds.
They have a definitive HP advantage as well. They only have to breathe on Garbage and Kato to find those 2 kills. Yes, Velociraptor still is a factor on this map, and I guess so are the other 2 members, especially if they're able to find that kill onto Dire, which, yes, they do. So down to Strona and Secret. We've seen them hold this position here before, but Dire, unfortunately, not able to escape out. But Strona still sitting here at the bottom of Library Stairs. She has 1 kill to find, and it would be a huge one if she can get that kill onto Velociraptor, especially with the amount of just destruction that Jarrison are doing from upstairs. It really comes down to just how disciplined they can play. If Velociraptor gets killed here, that is just so much danger, and it's all down to Garbage. Diffuser not even in hand, as Kato was killed earlier in that feed, and she has to find some magic here. She has to get some very nice shots going, but I have faith in her. 20 seconds remain. She has to open things up, but no, she's going to sprint in. Secret was waiting on the other side of that doorway. And Jarrison Fan Club looking mortal here. Homeland Nova, up 4-1.
One of those moments where if I was a worse man, aka Chiefcast, I would be like, don't press the shift key, don't sprint. I've made that joke before too, so I am actually a worse man. But especially worst looking one. Man's good looking for his age. He's like 65 and looks great.
Yeah, he's like ancient, dude.
Yeah, he is old as all get out. But even to the facts, sprinting right there was kind of her downfall, right? I get you're urgent. You're in a sense of urgency, but you can't pull up your gun fast enough to fire. And this isn't a moment like we saw last game. Who was it that we saw in that a random shot that was like they aimed in, but it was the first shot that was unaimed and hit fired that hit the head and killed on Villa? I mean, it was a great shot. This wasn't one of those moments where you could do so. I think you hadn't seen the option, you hadn't seen a good variable for your side, and you're just kind of falling victim to that 6-man on the field for the opposition, which is Father Time. And that's where defensive teams typically find themselves a lot of victories by denying the objective and playing that long con game. I said that while they were pushing through Fireplace, while they're going down that staircase. They just needed to wait for the last minute and 10 seconds, and they did just that. And that's why we're able to see Homeland able to hold on, win themselves that round, and Jarrison Fan Club just need a better sense of urgency.
That's why clock awareness is such a huge factor inside the Siege, right? Like, and credit to the Homeland Nova roamers, they were able to waste just enough amount of time really inside of that round, and they were also able to get some picks in their own right. And the roamers inside of that round were huge for Homeland, right? Because if Jarrison had the momentum, they had a little bit more time on that clock, then you wouldn't find Garbage having to, send it into the site all alone, or maybe they're able to just reposition everyone and try and get these positions going. So overall, yes, like you said, Scott, the clock, a gigantic factor inside of this game, but Jarrison Fan Club are going to use their tactical timeout. They have been struggling inside of this match, that is for sure. Homeland look definitively just they want to take this match away. They want to do it quickly, right? That would do wonders for their round differential, which is huge in terms of the bracket, Scott. And right now they're looking indomitable, but after a tactical timeout, we'll see.
Time will have to tell, so to say. Let's see how this one unfolds. It's round 6. It's the last round of the half. So for Homeland Nova, you can just take this one and go up 5-1. You'll be in a really good spot. You can say, hey, we've nailed this one on the head. Right now we get to head to the attack, which is typically considered the favored side on this map. That may be changing as time progresses. It's typically how a newer map for the pool works, but it still is fairly attacker favored despite Bank being the newest map on the book. So we can kind of consider on the same level of the coastline. Probably will continue to stay that way for a very long time. But Jarrison Fan Club have not been able to find success. And I would like to attribute that to Homeland Nova playing out of their minds for their roaming game. Yes, they do lose a lot of players early, but they know how to play those roamers. We talked about it 2 rounds ago where they were defending Kitchen, and they stepped themselves up in Canoe fashion to make the rotation away. Holy cow. That's next level play that you need to be capable of doing if you want to stand a chance here in Project Eris, especially with these better rosters you're facing off against. And it's just going to be a big question. Can Jarrison Fan Club win this round and continue to, I guess, pile on the rounds in their name? Or if they lose this one, are they capable of basically going in for a flawless half on the defense to keep themselves alive and, I guess, lead to a win or maybe even an OT situation against Homeland Nova?
I love what you were talking about there, Scott, because that's exactly what Homeland have been doing so well, right? Even if a roamer is going to go down, they have been playing the trades so effectively inside of this game, right? Jarrison can't find a 1v1 for free. And it's through no fault of their own, right? They're doing their best to isolate one of these roamers, but then they just get peeked from a different angle, and it's pretty much the same outcome time and time again. But Tax actually finding herself in a 1v1 with no opportunity for trade there as well. And they have a lot of angles to be aware of. And I feel like Jarrison Fan Club kind of feels like they're sitting in that metaphorical box, right? They've had so many different angles to worry about from Homeland, and they've had a lot of trouble dealing with it. And yeah, I think that's kind of spelled the story of this round. Ava here is going to be the first point of contention. She'll take off the head of a Velociraptor, but not able to find 2. Mine there with a refrag. But again, damage has already been done, and they're already down a woman. Yes, same thing goes for Homeland Nova, but they've shown so much propensity here on this defensive side. It's going to take a lot for Jarrison Fan Club to put themselves back into the driver's seat of this game. And even if they do win this round, it's still going to be down to 4-2. So a lot of work still to be done regardless of the outcome of this round. And unfortunately, things are swinging back into the hands of Homeland. With that Nitrocell coming out, killing Kato, they have no means to try and open up walls, and things are going even worse as mine will fall as well, Scott.
Bad position to be. Megninj taking a lot of damage from the opposing side. Garbage is attempting to peek it this time around. Very wary of it, and we'll see an EMP go out. Megninj looking for a long shot angle, still not giving themselves a really big safe space to do so. They're still looking for any viable options. Crouch player will peek around that corner. They do not have the diffuser. They do not have themselves a strong position to continue to play this. JFC, Jarrison Fan Club, are in a bad spot. Garbage steps up, dies. So will Megninj as Tex finds the last kill. That was a completely one-sided dominant performance from the side of Homeland Nova, and that's not something we really saw a lot of. A lot of those rounds were extremely close. They felt close, at least. Maybe not the Kitchen one, right, where it was a little lopsided just because they played that one so well, but all the other rounds I felt pretty close, but that one was Jarrison Fan Club not able to piece something together, able to, I guess, add on to anything in the round, and they were just forced to funnel into Homeland Nova's side. If you lose Diffuser, you lose the round. Yeah. And you had no control over that. And that's not what you want to be. You need to control your own destiny. And unfortunately, Homeland Nova took you by the throat, right? They controlled each and every single thing you were putting together. And that's the exact opposite of where you want to be. But I also want to bring up another thing here, Santos, because I thought this was quite important as I heard that round go and unfold. Propensity, the word you use. I love that word. It is now mine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, dude. You're welcome. Glad you could take something away from my otherwise very brain dead style of casting. So I'm glad you took something away from this, Scott.
I thought I had a good vocabulary, and then I heard propensity. I'm like, oh, I know that word, but I've never used it. Like,
you have a better vocabulary than you do. I'm just like, I just had that bright moment.
You know, I'll say it. I'll say it right here. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
What?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry.
Scott, this isn't the time for medical terms.
Sorry. I am. Well, actually, I'm not in college for medical stuff. I'm in college for dead people. unfortunately, criminology and blood spatter analysis. So they're not really medical terms, I guess you would say. But no, that was a meme, Santos. I'm sorry that you're not with the times. Should I start calling you the boomer instead?
I am old, man. Like
You're not that much
I'm
older than me.
Yeah, but I'm older than Chief in terms of meme awareness, dude. I have no idea
that may
what
be
you're
true.
talking about.
Chief somehow keeps up with the memes, but I think it's because he surrounds himself with a bunch of Zoomers. You know? Not to use that term like offensively or anything, but it's just like the group of gamers. It's usually what it turns out to be. Mine is able to take out Ava, who just did not watch their 6 stepping in from big window. Unfortunately for Mine, who tried to step away after doing so, which is what we saw Homeland Nova do a spectacular job of prior, they will be taken out from the opposing side of Staircase, and you're going to have a 4 versus 4, 2 minutes and 15 seconds remain.
Kato says, I am not dealing with Strona inside of this hallway. I'm going to reinforce you off. You can't shoot through this soft wall. You're going to have to find a way to open up that breach. And that's a lot of map control being taken from Homeland. But question is, what are they going to be able to do with it, right? Losing Ava, you lose the potential to clear out some ADSs or stun anyone inside and execute. Whatever you want to do, that potential has been lost. And now Secret, a lot of cards or a lot of these Habana pellets going towards this wall. If they're able to move someone over to try and deal with that could spell a lot of potential. But no, actually, I'm blind. There is no one to deal with it. And they're going to be able to open up that wall for scot-free. So Kato in a very compromising position now. She has to play very aware of what is going on around here, because if they are able to accomplish this push in the piano, if they're able to clear out Megninj, Kato is going to be next to fall. And she is the last on the defense between the diffuser and getting planted inside of the site here, Scott.
This is why you have that piano hold, right? I mean, it's just a better way to keep things close to the chest, so to say. I like to use that term. It's just kind of play this one a little reserved, I guess is a better way to phrase that for some people. But they're tossing in util. Lots of nades being dumped in, but none of them really finding high levels of impact. Instead, they will get rid of the shield, which now forces Megninj to be lying down, but a Vulcan shield has also exploded, now making things... Sorry, not a Vulcan shield, it'll be the Shamiga launcher has exploded. I just see fire. I assume it's Goyo. But it'll be the Shamiga launcher. Put some fire down. Here's a fan club. They banned out the smoke because they did not want Homeland Nova to play it, because they knew that they did not play Tachanka previously. Maybe they had practiced with Tachanka in preparation for this, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to matter. Frags going both directions. Gato finds Dire. Strona's a quick on the refrag. But it's a 3v3. Homeland Nova now begin the plant. No one down below like we saw Jarrison fan club do prior. We saw Homeland Nova do prior with the Tex down below with the Nitro Cell. Secret finds Velociraptor. Garbage may find Tex, so the plant has already gone down, and they're going to have to play for this post-plant situation. Only 35 seconds to remain. Stroda sitting on mezzanine, looking for an option. They'll actually play this one a little bit aggressively. They'll take a step back just for a moment as Megninj begins the prowl. He does not see the gun. How do you not see that one? Stroda finds a kill, a third to her name. Will she find the last? Garbage looking to step forward. Has teammate around her. Needs to be very wary. Steps around the corner, peeks it, she'll find one. Strona's out for the count. It's just Secret versus Garbage with Secret's position unknown. They're going to peek around the outside corner. Secret finds the kill with the bearing and will find Homeland Nova a round win. Very close for Jarrison fan club, but just not enough.
Oh, I thought Jarrison had it in the bag there, Scott. They were finding all of the kills, but again, it comes down to the different trades that Homeland have been finding all game long. They were just trading so effectively inside of that round, right? The Jaeger that was sitting inside of office, yes, he gets one kill, but immediately gets repeats. I love this style of play that Homeland is playing right now. Super aggressive. You have no chance to breathe. And Jarrison fan club, well, you got to hold your breath if you're a fan of them, because right now they are down 6-1. Homeland is on match point. And so much momentum is on the side of Homeland. They've already burned their tactical timeout as well. So there is no other way to stop this train than making your way over to the conductor and completely knocking him out. They have to stop Homeland somehow. Scott, question is, can they do it? I am so psyched for this game, but I didn't think it was going to be this one-sided as we hop into another round here. But this could potentially be the end here, Scott. It's been so much fun. I don't want it to end this early.
I love your analysis for trains. That was really funny. It just immediately went in my head. I was like, man, I feel like GTA 5 just came out again and everyone's trying to derail the train. Unfortunately, you can't do it. You can't do it. No matter how many cars, no many dump trucks, no matter how many fire trucks, you pile in front of it, it's going to keep going. It's just going to blow them up, and that's what Homeland Nova feels like right now. Jarrison fan club may have been able to find one, but Homeland Nova were smart. They didn't go back to that objective, right? They knew. It's like, we didn't win that. It was not even close, right? Jarrison fan club kind of slaughtered us. Let's not head back in that direction, and they didn't, right? I mean, they played that one really well, and they've read the room, so to say, or read the objective, I might say, instead. But now for Jarrison fan club on the defense, they're going to go for the same thing. I am of the opinion that you should never play the same objective twice, but maybe they just feel most comfortable on this one, and this really is a last-ditch effort, quite literally, as it is match point for Homeland Nova, but also because this is their most comfortable round. They've already lost on it once. That may spell disaster for the rest of this half, if it even goes past this one round.
You're becoming more and more like Grace. Like she noted that in our game that we got to cast earlier, that she hates it when teams play the same site 2 times in a row. So
I'm becoming a good color caster? Whoa, that's crazy.
You have amazing color. Shut up. Shut up.
That's my weakest point. No, I will be the first to admit my color is weak. I will be the first to admit.
I disagree, but we can talk about that a different time as Jarrison fan club find their backs against the wall, so to speak, but Kato is trying to dig themselves out of it, peeking aggressively, just trying to change the straits that Jarrison fan club have been in, but so far no dice. They have a lot to deal with inside of Piano, so I'm expecting this position to stay alive for very long, especially with the fact that, well, they're not going to be able to open up things in any other way, right? These Habana pellets have been muted, and Velociraptor, she could be so huge inside of this game, right? That Nitro Cell could be round defining, but we've seen Tex find the lack of success on that role as well. Tex finding a lack of success in this round too, as she will be felt. Kato getting pressured inside of Piano, but overall Homeland again just trying to take this control, but not really finding the picks necessary to get that done. And Scott, this round is a lot closer than a lot of the other rounds that we've seen so far.
Manila are kind of being forced away from the site. You obviously see them attempt to peek towards that Piano window, but it'll be immediately shut out. The surrogate reset. They'll luckily be able to find one. It'll be Velociraptor who's taken out for the count by Secret. They'll even up the man count for these sides. A 4v4 in full effect. Mezzanine is handily in control right now for the side of Homeland Nova, but unfortunately that window next to Piano is not able to find themselves a kill after Kato had managed to take out their teammate. A 3v3 back in effect. Mines holding close to this outside office, looking for an opportunity for a long shot, but it was Secret who actually finds it instead. Did notice the body as one stepped over. Ava finds one more, and they trade in the last kill. Magnich finds it, but it does not seem to matter. It all ends just as soon as the round started to heat up. Homeland Nova find themselves a 7-1 score, and it was a spectacular game on both sides, but one had to be crowned victorious. It was handily so for Homeland Nova.
That is a statement win there, Scott. There is no other way to really say that. They shut down this amazing win streak that we've seen out of Jarrison, and now that whole midpoint of the table just becomes that much more interesting. Next week is going to be just absolute chaos. You got to bring out all the stops to secure these playoff positions because so much can happen, and this is something that definitely none of us would have predicted. Homeland Nova put on quite the show today.
They looked spectacular. They looked great, and I can't say that enough times. I know I said it twice in a row. I hate doing that. I hate repeating myself usually, but they looked really good. I can't rave enough about their defense when it came to that kitchen objective where they made the swift getaway. That is an understanding of the game. It's an understanding of what was required of them, and I think Grace kind of understood. It's like you understood the assignment. Wait, no, that was it was a different cast earlier, but you understood the assignment, and that's exactly what it was. They handled it. They put a nice A+ on the top of it, and they were able to put a nice A. Wasn't a flawless, wasn't a full 100, but they did take it 7-1, so they get definitely an A, a 95 in my books for how they played that one as a whole. They looked great. They played great, and Homeland Nova will find themselves that victory over Jarrison Fan Club, who has been on a tear in recent times, like you have mentioned. That'll put a damper on things for a little bit longer.
With only 1 week left in the regular season too, right? There is only one more opportunity to really establish yourself inside of the league, right? There is one more opportunity to really secure your place in the standings. And well, Jarrison is going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, right? I hate to say it, but they got comprehensively beaten. Yes, some of the rounds were very, very close, but overall, Homeland Nova just seemed to have their number. And that's no shot to anyone on that team. I know that everybody on both of these teams really are amazing players, but that was one of the weaker performances that we've seen from Jarrison in a long while, and that sounds really grim, but it's 100% true. There's got Homeland Nova just they beat the brakes off them today.
They did. It really did felt like the train could not be derailed. They tried to pile some stuff on there, Vulcan shields, normal shields, ADSs, mute jammers, but inevitably the train will get through the site and they'll chug their way through to a match victory in very quick succession. All the games today quite swift. Last game was also quite good though. I mean, we have seen some very good games tonight. I was really excited to be on. I missed game one, unfortunately. I had to do an emergency sub elsewhere, but still, 3 casts for you today, 3 casts for me. Really excited to be back in business. But unfortunately, that's all we have here for you guys for Project Eris. It's been a very long day. It's been a very long week for a lot of us out there. But my name's Infernos, joined here by the spectacular Santos, and we are very happy to be here. Keep everyone close to heart. Don't let anything go for granted. I'll see you guys next time.
Tell someone you love them, please.